In this video, I'm talking about the 6 steps you need to take to make any goal more achievable. This video is for you if you don't think you need to hire a coach or can't afford one. You can coach yourself effectively using this framework. If you can't afford a coach, you should. They're going to hold you accountable to your goals and provide you with the feedback and support to help you achieve more than you thought possible. And if they're really good at their job, they'll probably follow a framework similar to what we're going to discuss right now. My name is RJ, I'm a former strongman competitor, owner of Flow Spa, and in these videos, I help driven people like you find more flow and perform your best. Because it's the start of a new year, you probably have some goals and resolutions that you're working on accomplishing. This framework is going to help you to achieve more of those goals more realistically. Step 1 is to gather information. First, figure out where you're starting from. If you were building something out of Lego, you'd have to gather those pieces to know what you're working with before you start building. Consider whatever change you're trying to make just like this. It could be a health goal, starting a new business, leveling up skills in a hobby you're passionate about. Whatever it may be, start by looking at who you are now as you begin this journey. Step 2 is to understand and explore this starting point. Any goal that you have is like building with Lego. The difference is that with humans, it's important to understand that starting point and what led you to it, and then explore why you want to make the change and accomplish the goals that you've set. Having more clarity and understanding on this starting point, as well as the goal and change you want to make, comes from asking the question why. When you dig down into finding the why behind your starting point, as well as the outcome of the goal that you want, you'll find the values that you hold most deeply. We want to understand these values behind our goals before starting any change journey, because it will give you something meaningful to turn to when times get tough and you're struggling with those goals. If you can answer the question why 5 times, you know that you've successfully completed step 2. Step 3 is to form an action plan. If you're going to find the treasure, you need to have a map. Forming an action plan is your treasure map, although sometimes the steps it takes to get to the treasure will change order based on what you're ready to do. While most people want to get straight into taking action, the action planning step is not something you want to miss. Doing this step helps you to be prepared for obstacles and to have options to choose from when you're facing resistance and still working on trying to stay on track. If you're new to forming an action plan to get to your goals, it helps to start with your endpoint and work backwards to where you are today. With your goals in mind, think about the skills that you need and who you need to be as a person to accomplish those goals. Then think about the practices or consistent habits and routines that make up those skills. Finally, each practice is made up of individual action steps, which is also our next step in this framework. Step 4 is to choose a next action, one step at a time. That's the rule. Don't try to work on multiple things at once for your goal until it becomes ridiculously easy for you to do the first thing automatically. Next actions take time to become habits. You will cut down the time that it takes and discipline to do an action when you aren't trying to do too many things all at once. Most of us slip up with trying to do everything all at once when we're excited about starting a new goal, but for most of us, life is stressful and full of many unexpected events, and committing to too many new actions will very quickly bury you and make it unmanageable before those things become habitual. Now, step 5 is to monitor the progress. This step happens at the same time as step 4. You do an action, track your progress. Keep a journal or use a habit tracking app to help make observations and monitor your progress. Most action steps aren't usually one-off processes, so monitoring your progress as you repeat each action helps you to get more immediate feedback on how you're performing with it. Consistency, especially at a more frequent rate, is how these new actions become habits and more automatic for you. So when you're monitoring progress, you want to be looking for consistency as much as jumps in the progress all at once. Now the final step, step 6, is to analyze results. In steps 5 and 6, you need to put on more of your coaching hat and imagine that you are giving advice to a friend who is the version of you actually doing these actions. Since you're doing this for yourself, you need to be compassionate but also realistic with yourself on how you're doing. So set a cadence of accountability in advance. What this means is to schedule in your coaching sessions with yourself as you review your progress and when you will analyze these results. I like to do this for myself on Sunday mornings as part of a review and to prepare for the next week. For goals that have a much longer timeline, you'll also want to do monthly or quarterly reviews that are deeper dives into the action plan you've created and how it's going. As long as your action plan is aligned with the goals that you want to accomplish and still makes sense, you then repeat steps 4 to 6 until the goal is accomplished. So you go back to those next actions, do a next action, and continue to monitor, observe, and analyze the results. Sometimes in analyzing and evaluating your results, you do have to change up the action plan or consult with a coach to figure out something you didn't realize on your own. But as long as you keep at this process and you're consistent with the action steps that you've created, you'll be moving into the right direction. So that's all it takes, and it doesn't sound overly complicated because it isn't, but most people fail to actually go through this process and try to just jump into doing all of the actions that it takes to lead to their goals all at once. So make sure that you actually go through and start building up the skill of doing this framework. And if you're thinking about the goals that you've got for this year and you need help figuring out your starting point and how to stay on track, check out the free 7-day motivation challenge inside the Flow Coach app. This will help you to get some quick wins on your health goals and get clear on what you want to focus on.